Hello and welcome back to my channel where we take you beyond the buzzword, beyond the basics, and beyond the BS to really master marketing agility. Today I'm going to say something a little controversial. You ready? Not all Agile marketing teams have to be cross-functional. I know, this is like a thing in the Agile coaching world in particular. In fact, the inspiration for today's video came from a conversation that I had with two other longtime Agile marketing practitioners, and I mentioned to them that we have had to do this to implement functional Agile marketing teams with a couple of Agile Sherpas clients over the last couple of years, and you could hear the shock over the conference line. Like, what? This isn't what? Here's the thing though. Agile marketing has to be pragmatic. It has to work in the realities we all live in, and many of us live in a functional reality. We have functional teams that exist now. And for one reason or another, which we're going to talk about in this video, creating cross-functional teams by exploding the entire org chart is not the best use of everyone's time and change-related energy early on in an Agile transformation. So yes, cross-functional teams are preferable. If we are stack ranking types of teams, cross-functional Agile teams win. They get the top spot in the types of teams that are awesome list. But reality sometimes intervenes, and it means we have to take a little bit of a pit stop on the way toward true cross-functionality. So that's the topic of our video today. When, why, and how could we perhaps consider a functional Agile marketing team? Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty of all of this, my ask of you, my lovely video viewers, is to let me know if you like what we're talking about here on the channel, here in this video. A like, a subscription, ideally, those make me so happy. A comment, all these things let us know that we are on the right track and we can continue to make videos like this to help make your lives better and more agile. So please let me know with those interactions, and that would be amazing. Okay, let's continue the controversy by talking about functional Agile marketing teams. So the reason these usually occur in the clients that we work with at Agile Sherpas is because a reorg has recently happened already. Yeah, they happen all the time. I don't know if this is like in the must-do checklist for new marketing executives, or we can't go more than 18 months without having a reorg, but they happen all the time in marketing. I talked to a multi-decade marketing expert the other day who said she was on boss number 16, which seems like a lot when she's been at one company for over a decade. It seems like a lot. So reorgs happen. And when we try to come in very shortly after a stressful reorg and say, hey, guess what? In order to be agile, we got to do it all again. Because usually the reorg did not create cross-functional Agile teams, unless it somehow magically happened by accident. That I've never seen that happen. You need to let me know if you've seen that happen. Usually no. We've just kind of shuffled people around, changed up bosses and reporting structures, but we haven't built cross-functional teams. So for an Agile change agent or a consultant or a coach to come in and say, new teams, new bosses, new reporting, yay for everything, people are rolling their eyes and feeling very overwhelmed by all of it, right? And they're like dragging their feet and they don't want to do it. So this is an argument for creating functional teams initially. Right? The other argument is when resourcing is super uneven, inequitable. We have one copywriter, and because of the headcount of the team, we would need to build 5 cross-functional Agile teams. The math doesn't work. Like every cross-functional team would need a copywriter, but we only have one. And it's like, they don't jive. right? And so we either end up putting our poor copywriter onto all 5 teams, which is still taking us away from the ideal Agile system where we are on one team serving one backlog, or we let people stay within their functional teams and work towards cross-functionality over the longer term. I'm the first to admit neither of these is ideal, and we start planting the seeds of cross-functionality as early as possible. But if the choices are Agile within functional teams or not Agile at all, I will take Agile in functional teams every single time because it's so much better for everyone. Increased productivity, happier marketers, better quality work with fewer rounds of revision. It's worth it to start in the functional teams. So if you do that, there are some things to keep in mind to make your functional world as agile and effective as possible. And the first is to make sure all your functional teams can still talk to one another, that you have an effective mechanism for connecting them. Now, in Mastering Marketing Agility, the book on which this YouTube channel is based, we talk about a marketing strategy group, which is made up of the leaders of different agile marketing teams, execution teams, that gets together to make sure that all those teams are pulling in the same direction. This strategy group ideally meets daily. It's a lot like a scaled daily stand-up, or a scrum of scrums, if you've heard those types of words used before. The idea is that we get a representative from our Agile execution teams, not the whole team, because we're trying to eliminate meetings as a general best practice, but a representative to join forces and make sure there's good alignment, right? What are we about to kick over to your team? What are we blocked on that we need your team's help on? We're stuck on this project. Could we borrow a resource? These kinds of conversations can happen at that scaled daily stand-up. And that touch point needs to be frequent. Once a week is not enough. Daily is our ideal for this. Also, getting together for a proper big room planning session. If you've been around a SAFe implementation, you might have heard it called PI, or product increment planning. The gist of this is it happens approximately once a quarter, and we get a bunch of teams and their stakeholders into a room together to hash out the priorities for the next 3 months. And we come away with a project level backlog showing this is the most important chunk of work for you all to accomplish in the next 3 months. And then the teams can go and execute on those with confidence, and they can work together, even if they're in functional teams, to achieve those larger objectives. So big room planning and scaled daily stand-up are both very important touch points to make functional agile teams actually function, right? And make sure you're measuring your functional agile teams, because hopefully you're thinking to yourself, wow, we could actually go a lot faster if I had copy and design and automation and comms all sitting together on one team. And then if sometime in the future you hopefully decide to go in that direction and pilot that true cross-functional team, you'll have an apples to apples thing to compare it to. If you know how well your functional agile marketing team performs, they do so many points of velocity, or their throughput is such and such, you know that, then you can compare it to the cross-functional team and really have a data-driven understanding of the benefits of the cross-functional team. So, yes, cross-functional teams can happen. I fully expect to hear some strong arguments both for and against this. That's why we have comments, and I would really love to hear your perspective. If you've been on one and you loved it, hated it, whatever, would really seriously like to hear from you in the comments or shoot me an email. But reality dictates that we do this sometimes to help make agility possible in the short term and then move towards greater agility over the long term, because iteration, yeah. All right, I hope this video has been useful to you as you grapple with the issues facing Agile marketers, please let me know. I would love to make more videos like this if this was helpful to you. And I'll see you again in a week with more insider tips on how to actually master marketing agility. Thank you so much for joining me.